She thought her baby was inside, safe in his crib. But then she heard her mother whisper something outside. "Don't look. Please don't look." By the time she stepped into the driveway, it was already too late. In a quiet suburban neighborhood, young mother Emily Carter lives a peaceful life with her 6-month-old son, Noah, and often relies on her own mother, Linda Carter, for help with childcare. Linda, a recently retired woman in her late 60s, is known for being careful, loving, and deeply devoted to her grandson. One ordinary afternoon, a routine visit turns into a nightmare no family could ever prepare for. What begins as a normal day quickly spirals into a tragedy that leaves Emily questioning everything she thought she knew. At first, it appears to be a devastating accident, an unthinkable moment of confusion and panic. But as details emerge, investigators begin to notice inconsistencies that don't quite add up. Was this truly a tragic mistake? Or is there something far more disturbing beneath the surface? Because sometimes, the people we trust the most are hiding the truth in plain sight. The sound didn't make sense at first. It wasn't loud, not a crash, not a scream. Just a dull, soft impact. The kind your brain doesn't immediately recognize as danger. Inside the house, Emily Carter stood in the kitchen, rinsing a bottle. Her 6-month-old son, Noah, had been fussy all morning. She had just finally gotten him to sleep. Or at least, she thought she had. Her mother, Linda, had stepped outside a few minutes earlier, said she needed to grab something from the car. Nothing unusual, nothing urgent. But then came the voice, soft shaking, barely above a whisper. "Emily." It was Linda standing outside. "Don't come out here," she said. Emily froze, because something in that tone was wrong. "Mom," she called back. No response, just silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. And that's when something didn't add up. Emily dropped the bottle, water still running in the sink, and she walked toward the front door, each step slower than the last, because deep down, she already knew. She just didn't want to believe it. When she opened the door, everything changed. Linda stood near the driveway, pale, frozen, her hands trembling. Behind her, the car still running. And on the ground, Noah, the world, stopped. Emily didn't scream at first. She couldn't. Her body locked. Her mind refused, because what she was seeing didn't make sense. He was supposed to be inside, safe, asleep, but he wasn't. And that's when the sound came out. A scream that neighbors would later say they would never forget. Paramedics arrived within minutes, but it was already clear. Noah Carter was gone. The official story formed quickly, too quickly. Linda had backed out of the driveway. Didn't see him, didn't know he was there. A tragic accident, that's what everyone said. But something didn't add up. Detective Aaron Blake arrived that evening. A calm, methodical investigator with over 2 decades of experience. He had seen accidents, real ones. This didn't feel like one. He stood in the driveway, looked at the car, then at the house, measured the distance. Something was wrong, because for this to be an accident, Noah had to be outside, alone, unattended, and that didn't make sense. Emily was inside, Linda was outside. So who brought the baby out? That question changed everything. Blake sat down with Linda first. She looked broken, shaking, barely holding herself together. "I didn't see him," she whispered. "I swear I didn't see him." Blake nodded. "Why was he outside?" he asked gently. Linda froze. I don't know," she said. That answer echoed. Because something didn't add up. Emily's statement came next. I put him down for a nap, she said. He was inside. Blake leaned forward. And you didn't move him? No. Did your mother? Emily shook her head immediately. No, she wouldn't. But her voice carried doubt. Just a trace. And that was enough. The timeline was reconstructed. Linda went outside at 2:14 p.m. The impact occurred around 2:17. 3 minutes. That's all it took. But what happened in those 3 minutes didn't make sense. Neighbors were interviewed. One mentioned something strange. I saw her earlier, a woman said. The grandma, she was carrying something. Blake's attention sharpened. Something? A blanket, I think. Or a bundle. That changed everything. Because Noah had been wrapped in a blanket when found, which meant he didn't crawl outside. He was carried. Second twist. Blake returned to Linda. You took him outside, he said quietly. She broke. Immediately, tears, hands shaking, breath uneven. I just wanted to calm him, she cried. Now the truth was starting to surface. He wouldn't stop crying, she said. Emily was overwhelmed. I thought I could help. Blake stayed silent. Let her speak. I took him outside, just for a minute. And then, Blake asked. Linda covered her face. I forgot. Silence. The kind that feels impossible. You forgot, Blake repeated. She nodded, barely. I put him down, in the driveway, just for a second. Blake's chest tightened, and then I got in the car. That was the moment everything fell apart. I didn't remember he was there, she whispered. But something still didn't add up, because forgetting something like that isn't simple. It's not normal, Blake dug deeper. Medical records, cognitive evaluations. And that's when the final twist hit. Linda had been diagnosed. Early-stage dementia. Months earlier. No one knew. Not even Emily. Linda had hidden it. Afraid of losing independence. Afraid of becoming a burden. And in that fear, she made a decision to pretend everything was fine. Until it wasn't. The day of the incident. She panicked, confused, overstimulated, and for a moment, her mind failed her. A moment that cost everything. Emily sat in the interrogation room days later. Silent, Blake explained everything. Gently, carefully. She didn't cry at first. She just stared. Because the truth was worse than anything she imagined. It wasn't anger. It wasn't violence. It was forgetfulness. And that made it unbearable. Linda wasn't charged with murder. But the case didn't disappear. Negligence, endangerment, legal consequences followed. But no sentence could match the weight of what happened. Because every day, Linda remembered. And every day, Emily had to live with it. The house was eventually sold. The driveway repainted. But some things don't fade. Because the truth is, the most shocking tragedies aren't always driven by hate. Sometimes they come from a moment, a single moment, where everything slips. And by the time you realize it, it's already too late.